In the heart of Uttar Pradesh, where the fields stretch endlessly and the air hums with the secrets of the past, there lies a village untouched by time. Here, the festival of Holi is not just a celebration of colours. It is a ritual, a prayer, a reckoning. But this year, the flames of Holika Dahan did not burn to cleanse. They burned to consume. The bonfire was lit as it had been for centuries, its pyre stacked high with wood and dried leaves. The villagers gathered, their faces illuminated by the flickering light, their voices rising in chants to ward off evil. But as the night deepened, the fire did not die. It grew. Its flames, a ghostly blue, licked the sky like the tongues of restless spirits. And then, the first villager vanished. At first, they thought it was an accident. A child wandered too close, they said. A farmer lost his way in the dark. But as the days passed, more disappeared. The village grew silent, the air thick with dread. And on the trees surrounding the bonfire, strange markings began to appear, symbols carved deep into the bark, glowing faintly with the same blue light. Priya, the village priestess, knew the markings were no ordinary vandalism. They were a warning, a plea from a realm long forgotten. She had heard the stories whispered by her grandmother, tales of Holika, the demoness who was burned alive, her spirit bound to the flames. But the stories spoke of her defeat, her eternal silence. Until now. The memories flooded back to Priya as she knelt by one of the marked trees, her fingers tracing the symbols, her face pale with fear. The tales of her childhood echoed in her mind, stories that had once seemed like mere folklore, but now felt like a heavy truth. The bonfire was a gateway, and the blue flames were a sign that Holika's spirit had returned, hungry for vengeance. Priya knew what she had to do. The ancient texts spoke of a ritual, a way to close the gateway and banish Holika's spirit. But the ritual required a sacrifice, not of an animal, not of an offering, a life, a soul. And Holika would not be satisfied with just anyone. As Priya prepared for the ritual, the village grew colder. The blue flames cast long, twisting shadows that seemed to move on their own. Whispers filled the air, voices that were not human. And in the heart of the fire, a figure began to take shape, a woman, her body wreathed in flames, her eyes burning with a rage that had festered for centuries. "You took my life, you took my power. Now I will take yours." Holika's voice echoed, chilling and haunting, as Priya stood before the bonfire, the ancient book open in her hands. The villagers watched from a distance, their faces a mixture of fear and hope. Priya began the ritual, her voice trembling as she chanted the ancient words. The flames roared higher, the blue light intensifying. The ground beneath her feet cracked, and from the fissures, tendrils of smoke rose, forming shapes, faces of those who had vanished, their eyes hollow, their mouths open in silent screams. The ritual was working, but Holika would not be silenced so easily. The flames lashed out, wrapping around Priya like serpents. She screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the roar of the fire. The villagers watched in horror as the priestess was pulled into the flames, her body consumed by the blue light. The screen went dark. Silence. Then, a faint whisper pierced the stillness. "Your sacrifice is accepted." Now reduced to embers, the blue light was gone. The villagers stood in stunned silence. And then, from the ashes, a figure emerged. Priya, her body unscathed, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Priya had closed the gateway. The village was safe. But as she walked away from the ashes, the villagers noticed something strange. Her shadow. It did not move with her. It stood still, watching, waiting. And in the distance, the faint sound of laughter echoed, a laughter that was not Priya's. The villagers exchanged glances as they realized that the darkness had not been vanquished. Priya's expression was blank, as if she had become a vessel for something far more sinister. The laughter grew louder. As the night deepened, the villagers began to feel the weight of an unseen presence. The air grew thick and oppressive, as if the very ground beneath them was alive with malice. Some began to whisper of the vanished, their names slipping from their lips like a prayer. But there was no solace to be found, only the echo of Holika's promise lingering in the air. Days turned into weeks, and the village transformed. The once vibrant colours of Holi faded into dull shades of grey. The laughter that had once filled the streets was replaced by an eerie silence. Shadows flickered at the edges of vision, and the villagers found themselves looking over their shoulders, haunted by the feeling of being watched. Priya, now a mere shell of her former self, wandered among them, her eyes reflecting an unnatural glow. The villagers avoided her gaze, fear twisting in their stomachs. They whispered of the price they had paid, of the sacrifice that had not only consumed Priya's spirit, but had also unleashed a darkness upon their lives. One fateful night, a storm rolled in, dark clouds swirling ominously above the village. The wind howled like a banshee, rattling windows and sending chills down spines. As the villagers huddled inside their homes, a flicker of blue light illuminated the sky, piercing through the darkness like a beacon. It was the bonfire, reignited, its flames dancing in a frenzy. Priya stood before the fire, her silhouette framed against the chaos. The villagers, drawn by a force they could not comprehend, emerged from their homes, their hearts pounding in unison. They watched in horror as the flames twisted and turned, revealing the faces of the vanished, their eyes pleading for release. "Join me," Priya's voice echoed, a haunting melody that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the villagers. "We are one now. We are bound by the flames." The villagers felt a pull, an insatiable hunger to step closer to the fire. They fought against it, but the call was too strong. One by one, they stepped forward, drawn into the warmth of the blue flames. Their screams mingled with the laughter that had haunted them for weeks, a cacophony of despair and madness. As the last villager succumbed to the flames, Priya stood alone, her eyes ablaze with a wicked light. The bonfire roared, its flames reaching higher, consuming everything in their path. The village was no more, swallowed by the darkness that had been unleashed. And as the last ember flickered out, a new silence fell, one that was heavy with the weight of forgotten souls. In the heart of the ashes, a new figure emerged. Priya, now fully transformed, her laughter echoing into the night, a haunting reminder that some sacrifices demand more than just a life. The village may have vanished, but the darkness remained, a testament to the horrors that lingered in the shadows, waiting for the next Holi, waiting for the next flame to ignite.